What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So lo and behold, you know, the off-screen ski does indeed strike again, as we end up getting the brand new Boa Hancock from the One Piece magazine, the One Piece Day celebratory Sugo Fest character, the anniversary exclusive Hancock. And now that I've actually pulled this unit and given this unit a little bit of a try, yeah, like, this unit is really wonky. It's a really strange character. So let's go ahead and break down exactly what she does and kind of how she works with these different units, okay? So Boa Hancock herself is a quick striker powerhouse. Now, just first and foremost, the fact that she's striker powerhouse is probably the most surprising factor about all of this. And I do actually think that the fact that she is striker powerhouse is probably one of the worst things about this unit, because with her super tandem boost, I guess we can kind of briefly mention that her super tandem boost, you need a striker or powerhouse character that is also Straw Hat, Kuja, or Logia type in order to use their super tandem ability for this to work. And there aren't many good characters that are Straw Hat, Kuja, or Logia that are either striker or powerhouse. There are a handful of them that are actually good. There's obviously Super Sugo Nami, anniversary exclusive Nami that came out during the 11th anniversary. Unfortunately, I don't have that Nami, which would have been a great character to try and showcase with this, but it's just overall like really weird, especially when you're trying to activate the super type ability of this character, because the super type activation requirement is so crazy, where you need a Monkey D. Luffy character on your team, but you also need 3 or more quick characters in order to activate it. I guess a caveat with all of this is the fact that this super type can actually be used as a crewmate, so I do think that there is a bit of potential there in the future. The effect itself is pretty cool, being able to remove 1 turn of defense and damage reduction. Having that effect as a sub is quite good, as well as giving 20% quick resistance down, and also it says that for the next turn, basically, any conditional boost that you activate will be permanently buffed by 0.25, which works great with her special ability, which we will talk about very briefly. So being able to use this first and then buff any conditional boost that gets activated. But it's just the activation requirement for this ability is just kind of absurd. Not only is there a character requirement with Luffy, which isn't too bad, but the fact that you do need, you know, 3 quick characters on the team means that you aren't really going to be running with classes, and class teams far outweigh and are far superior compared to monocolor teams, because obviously when you're building a class team, you can build whatever color that you want against whatever enemy that you're coming up against. But if you are building a full quick team, then you are kind of shoehorned into only going against specific pieces of content, because if the boss ends up being Dex, you're just kind of screwed, you know? So it does make things a little wonky. Now, I guess in terms of the captain ability, lots of cool things going on here. The 2 turns of cooldown at the start of the quest is always awesome. And then boosting quick striker powerhouse characters by 5.5 with a 1.3 times recovery boost. The fact that she does boost quick striker and powerhouse, like, that is pretty neat. But the fact that you are still trying to build mono quick for her super type effect to activate means that, you know, the team builds can get a little wonky. Furthermore, she extends the duration of your conditional boosts by 1 turn, which is quite cool. And also, if Luffy, Sanderzonia, or Marigold are a crewmate and use a special, it removes 10 turns of paralysis, and then Boa Hancock herself gets her special back immediately. Now, that effect only activates once per quest, but being able to essentially add 10 turns of paralysis removal onto any special that is Luffy, Sanderzonia, Marigold is quite good. The only issue is that we don't have many good Sanderzonia and Marigolds, so this is kind of secluded just for Luffy characters. I really wish that this character debuted alongside a new, you know, Marigold, Sanderzonia, like a striker powerhouse quick version of Sanderzonia and Marigold. That would be absolutely phenomenal, but unfortunately that is not the case. On top of all of this, she does have an additional effect which says that if a character is a Straw Hat, a Kuja Pirate, or a Logia type character, then they get an additional 1.2 times multiplier to their attack boost. So she does become like a relatively decent attack boosting captain, but obviously just for Straw Hats, Kujas, and Logia type characters. So the captain ability doesn't have like a lot going on, and the utility is locked behind activating a special from a Luffy, Sanderzonia, or Marigold, and that character has to be a crewmate, meaning if you run a hybrid captain of Boa with a friend captain Luffy or something like that, the friend captain Luffy special does not activate this ability, which again is another reason why the design of this character is just a little wonky. Like, the fact that she is still focusing on buffing striker powerhouse means you could actually opt to use Int Rush Luffy as a friend captain, because he does boost powerhouse characters. But unfortunately, that's not really going to work if you wanted to get Boa's effect to activate in her fullest potential, right? And I guess let's talk about the special here. The special is pretty interesting in that she does remove 7 turns of bind. That's actually quite good. And then also removing 3 turns of increased defense and rainbow shield. And of course, if you do get her to double special launch with her inbuilt effect in her captain, this can potentially be 14 turns of bind and 6 turns of blue shield and rainbow shield, which is obviously quite good. You also get the 15,000 HP heal, and also inflicting the enemy with paralysis for 2 turns, as well as buffing the next final tap of a quick strike or a powerhouse by 30%. 30% buff is quite good, especially if you can get her to double special launch. A 60% buff is no joke. That will add quite a lot of additional damage, of course, but it is only to quick striker or powerhouse characters. And then she also does provide a conditional boost against enemies that are inflicted with paralysis, 2.25 times for 1 turn, and that conditional boost that she provides with her special is allowed to be buffed twice. So she does have self-proccing conditional boost, which is good. The only issue is that in order for the paralysis that she inflicts to go through immunity, you do need to have 4 or more characters on the crew that are Straw Hats, Kujas, or Logia type. And if you do have that condition fulfilled, not only do you allow the paralysis to go through immunity, but it also allows you to get double stacking conditional boosts for 1 turn. So it is quite nice being able to use Boa to get her self-proccing paralysis conditional boost, and then it does allow you to activate another special on your crew for another potential conditional boost. It's pretty strong, honestly. And then the fact that, you know, she's built this way means that characters that have the ability to enhance the effect of your conditional boosts via support effects or anything like that. Obviously, Boa herself does also have that with her super type. You would activate her super type first, then activate her special, which means that her own conditional boost will be buffed to 2.5 times, and then another effect you could potentially buff it to like 2.75 times conditional, which is obviously quite good. So that's the way it kind of works. The one thing that obviously the design of this character is a little wonky. Team building with this character can also be a little problematic, but one thing that I am a little annoyed about is that there isn't much redundancy in her special, meaning that the fact that you use it multiple times, the utility sense is nice because you get the double dip in terms of utility, but you also get like a little bit of final tap buff, which I guess is nice. But what I would have liked to have seen is that, you know, if you already had a conditional boost, it would buff your conditional boost with her own special. Like, imagine that her own special would buff your conditional boost by 0.5 or something like that. It would allow Boa with her own kit to actually get like a 3 times conditional boost. And then if you have a double stacking conditional boost already, she could buff her own conditional boost and then whatever other conditional boost you've already activated with her own kit, allowing you to get double stacking conditional boost and being able to buff both of those abilities, kind of like what Super Sugo Nami does with her Super Tandem ability. So yeah, there are some downfalls with this unit for sure. Definitely a fun unit. I love the artwork, I love the special animation, the actual Super Tandem boost animation, which you guys are going to see right at the end here with this team, also really cool. Anyways, really hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.